Okay, so since it is 12 o'clock, I may have to still add some more people in as they join, but I want to, like I said, be respectful of your time and get started here. First and foremost, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in today, for spending time with me, for setting time aside for yourself, for your own learning, for your own health, and for your own happiness. So I really appreciate it. So today we are going to be talking about how do we shift from feeling anxious to being aligned. So today's masterclass is focused on how are we going to conquer our anxiety to achieve peace without sacrificing success. All right. So what does it actually mean to be aligned? Any guesses? Any thoughts? Have you become familiar with this word? I feel like it's a buzzword in the personal growth world, but being aligned, in my definition, so peak alignment is a powerful state where your mind, where your body, where your spirit are fully operating in sync, allowing you to experience true health and deep happiness and purpose-driven success. So how exactly is it that we achieve peak alignment? It's all about harnessing the power of your nervous system, your subconscious mind, to help you break free of chronic anxiety and helping you to restore peace. You are here in the right place today. If you feel constantly on edge, if you're overthinking, if you're battling stress or anxiety and perfectionism, and no matter what you try, you are unable to relax. So I want you to drop in the chat box if you are someone who has tried medication, who has tried meditation, supplements, even therapy, but nothing has actually helped you get lasting peace. If you are someone who has struggled with more than one chronic health issue, and when I say chronic health issue, I am talking about things like chronic anxiety, insomnia, digestive issues, anything like that. Drop in the chat box a yes or a one if you have any of those things so far. Or maybe you're someone where your stress and anxiety comes out in your relationships. You're feeling constantly pressured and overworked and unsupported at work. So by the time you get home, you have little energy for your family. You feel impatient. You feel just on edge all the time. If that is you, drop a yes. So maybe you're here just because you're curious. You're curious about the subconscious mind, about energy healing, and wondering if this may be the missing link. So yes, I'm seeing in the chat box here, oh yes, everyone, medication, my brain is always on the go. Yeah, I get it. I feel you. So this is going to be our roadmap for the day. We're going to talk about the cheat codes for healing chronic anxiety so that you can finally stop the constant mental chatter and feel calm and clear and confident again. We're going to talk about the exact neurohacking techniques you'll need to help reprogram your nervous system for health so that you can unlock peak performance without the constant distraction of physical stress. And we're lastly going to talk about how are we going to shift your identity from this anxious overachiever to the confident, unstoppable leader that you are meant to be so that you can finally live a life where it feels easy, feels authentic, and aligned. You are in the wrong place, and this training is not for you if you are looking for a quick fix magic pill. That is not how this works. If you are looking to do the same thing with no or slow results, or if you're not ready to invest in yourself or make real changes in your life, if you are comfortable being uncomfortable, then that's not what this is about. Or if you are satisfied living with stress and burnout and chronic health issues, or allowing anxiety to stay as a part of your identity, then this is not for you. So I have the stay until the end bonus. If anyone is able to stay until the end, you will get free access to this meditation, this future self visualization, this meditation. I will just send it to your inbox. So now that you know if the webinar is the right fit for you and you have a glimpse of what you'll get at the end, I want to take a step back just for a minute and share a little bit about my own personal journey because I feel like I've been there where you guys are, navigating constant anxiety and perfectionism and this pressure to always be on, always to be working, always achieving, doing, giving. And I want to share how I went from feeling overwhelmed and anxious to now really feeling like I'm living this life truly in alignment, this life that I feel so in love with, so passionate about, and so grateful to have had the ability to create. I grew up in a family where the primary value, the number one core thing that was important was hard work. There wasn't a lot of relaxing going on in my home. And this was passed down for a couple generations in my family. My grandparents were really hard workers on both sides. They were immigrants. My family was a huge Catholic family. I came from one of 10 kids. My dad came from 10 kids. My mom came from 8 kids. So you can imagine with that many people around, that many people, just the daily chaos of it and how much work it took to maintain just a general level of sanity within the household. So our lives were filled with chores, helping out with other kids. We were also homeschooled our whole life. So everyone was right there all the time in the house. My mom and dad were so busy taking care of everyone, the military mentality of taking care of the group and the mass rather than individual stuff, individual needs. Casual conversations and sitting around and talking and playing, that really didn't exist in my life. Because there was so much to do all the time, so many people all the time, there was always this underlying pressure to appear busy, to be productive, to be doing all the time. And what got embedded into my nervous system, my core belief, was that my worth was tied to achievement, not necessarily to who I was. There was always this pressure to do and not necessarily just to be. So I took a lot of that. I took a lot of that programming into my high school life, where I wore busyness as achievement. It was like played 3 sports, all National Honor Society, always had to get straight A's. I kept chasing the next thing. And around high school, my body started to show signs of the constant stress, the constant pressure. I maintained that same high achiever mentality through college. I was on the dance team in multiple clubs, still pushing to get good grades all the time, homecoming queen. I was working 3 jobs all through college. And this is when things really got, like my body really was showing signs of the wear and tear from the constant stress. I started to get IBS. I was getting insomnia, my anxiety. I wasn't raised in a world where anxiety was a word that we even knew what that meant. It was just like, oh, yeah, busy. That's what we are. Stressed. That's what we are. This is who we are. And nobody really talked about anxiety. So I started to have more awareness around it. And something inside of me was saying, like, something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. And actually, in my first semester, or I guess it was my second semester of college, I like hit a wall. I thought I was going to quit college. I thought I was going to go to the military. Katie's on here. She can attest to that. She actually went to the military. I think it was the Marines or something with me. I went to go sign up for something extreme, but instead I didn't do that. I actually went and studied abroad. So I had a lot of friends that lived in Colombia. I was dating somebody from Colombia, South America. My parents weren't happy about this, by the way, but I studied abroad. And it was in this experience of living in South America that it was for the first time in my life that I was exposed to adults and people just enjoying, just talking and relaxing and having casual conversation and not always working. I remember sitting around, they'd have 3-hour meals and everyone would be dancing and drinking and having fun. And these were successful people. These were people that had multiple homes and very successful, but they lived their life from a different energy. They lived their life from this energy of not working to live. They worked to live. They didn't live to work. So I was exposed to this fun and free and flexible lifestyle, but my nervous system didn't understand it. It knew it wanted it. It knew it wanted that level of peace and freedom, but I couldn't really get there. So as soon as I came back from living in Colombia, I jumped right back into this high stress mentality. I fell into medical sales, and in the world of medical sales, stress and anxiety is like an award. It's like a badge of honor. The more stressed, the more high strung you are, you're the better worker. I really thrived in that environment. At least I thought I was thriving in that environment. And things just kept escalating and getting worse and worse. And my body was like, that's enough. So things escalated to the point, or I should say de-escalated, where they hit just a huge peak. I had hit rock bottom. I was struggling at work with my anxiety. I filed for divorce in my first marriage, and which was like the worst thing for my Catholic parents and for my family. And I remember at that time, I was feeling so much anxiety in my throat and in my chest and so much pressure all the time that a therapist at the time had said, Amy, all this pressure on your chest is simply you trying to please everyone else. You trying to do what everyone else wants of you. You trying to do what's expected of you rather than listening to yourself, rather than listening to your heart, to your wants, to your desires. And that's when I realized, I'm like, I don't even know what my wants and desires are. I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I want. All I knew at that point was that I was living my life based on other people's expectations, like what my parents would want or what my partner wanted, whoever I was dating. It was just, the only thing was somebody said, what makes you happy, Amy? I would have been like, what do you mean happy? What is happy? I don't understand what that is. I work. That's what I do. I work and I work. My identity is my job. And I wasn't just working one job. I was bartending on the side and doing promos and all this stuff. I was so disconnected from my authentic alignment, my true alignment, that I couldn't even conceptualize. So then somebody gave me the book called The Secret. And if you're not familiar with this book, it's amazing book. It's famous for being like the first book you read whenever you're getting into personal development, personal growth. And it introduces you to understanding how our thoughts and our feelings are energetic, how everything in our life is energetic and magnetic, how our emotions are magnetic, and that how we create our reality through our thoughts and our beliefs. So from that point, everything changed. Everything changed and everything shifted in my life. I started to just become so ravenously engulfed in the world of personal growth and going down this healing journey. And it's interesting because up until that point, like I believe that this year, 2016, was the start of my healing journey. But up until that point, I'd been going to therapy for 10 years. And I'd been taking all this stuff and doing all the things, but nothing had really been working. And everything changed right about this time. From there, I feel like my life has changed. I shifted from this burned out medical sales rep who didn't even understand. I couldn't even say the word happiness really in an understanding of knowing what it meant, to now being someone who is a transformational therapist. I peak performance coach, and I've helped hundreds of high performers heal their anxiety without medication or years in therapy. I've healed my own chronic health issues. I have no chronic health issues any longer. I take no medication. I have overcome relationship, not just one divorce. Sometimes I say that, oh, I got divorced. I was like, no, I had 15 years of extremely unhealthy relationships, emotional abuse, physical abuse, all types of stuff. And now I am in this very healthy, very loving relationships. I have 2 kids and a career that I absolutely love. And here's my family. All right, so we are here today because we are here to help you restore your peace, to help you find your joy, to transform your health at this core level, at this fundamental level, to attract abundance into your life and to help you create the dream life that you've always wanted. So I believe in you. I believe in being authentically you, that you have the ability to make an impact. And one of the things that makes me unique as a coach is it's not just one style of thing. It's not one thing. I am passionate about neurohacking, biohacking, psychology, manifesting, energy healing, and I value time above all else. I value getting fast results for people because I don't believe that you should just be in therapy your whole life. So I have spent years and years of my life trying to hack the system of the mind, hack the system of the body to get you faster and faster results because your life is meant to be spent living. So I just want to take a pause for a second because I can't look at the chat while I'm talking and just see how everyone is feeling here. So can you relate with constantly doing and not just being? So I want you to put in the chat, yes, or 1, or something like that. Is that you? Yeah, hand up. Janelle, Charity. Okay, so nice. And who has felt like they've tried all the things, have been working so hard to heal. And I'm sure you guys are. I believe that you are. You're trying all the new things. So yes, I've been getting better, but not stopping myself. Bridget. Yes. And have you felt that no matter how much you achieve, nothing is ever good enough? And I feel like the thing here is that you never actually get a chance to slow down and celebrate where you are. So let me see here. Yes. Yep, exactly. 100%. So, where do you feel this pressure the most? Do you feel this pressure primarily in your work life? Do you feel it in your personal life? Do you feel it in your own, like internal, in your own mind? Where does this show up for you guys? Don't know how to celebrate. A couple of you said don't know how to celebrate, don't know how to have fun. I swear, oh my gosh, Lisa and Bridget, I swear that was exactly how I was. The biggest change, like when I went to Colombia and everyone was like celebrating and having fun, I was like, what are they doing here? What is going on? Yes, the celebration. One of my favorite people, I think she's on this call somewhere, Shannon. She is another coach, and she always is about celebrating. And I love that too. I feel like that's the thing that has shifted in my life is how to actually have fun, how to enjoy life. Awesome. Yay, Shannon. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is understanding if you want to win at the game of life, if you want to win at the game of health and happiness, you have to understand how your brain works. You have to understand how to play the game of life. So, we're going to talk about this first cheat code, the secret of how to heal anxiety at its core. All right, so the number one mistake that I see in everyone that I work with is that they think that they can do it, that they can muscle their way through it, that they can do it on their own, that they can use willpower and their hard work to heal their anxiety. Because we've been conditioned that way, right? Just keep working. If I push, if I force, if I solve all the problems, if I work harder and get to the next project done, or maybe if I get the new job or get the new better relationship or make the move or buy the different house, then I will feel better. I will feel better. Hold on, I gotta let someone in here. Yes, if I just work harder, then I will feel better. This will not work. This will not work. We've been conditioned this way, and it actually has worked out in many ways for us. If we work hard, we can get what we want as high achievers. But there's a quote that I love. There's a quote that I love that is, if you don't master your strengths, they will become your weaknesses. And I feel like this is the biggest quote for high achievers is yes, they are great at working hard. I'm really good at working hard, but working hard has actually become my biggest weakness. Muscling through anxiety was only making my problems worse. And my guess is that's the same thing for you. So the first rule, the first secret that I am super excited to share with you, super excited to share is that if you can understand this, that no amount of logic, no amount of force, no amount of willpower will heal your anxiety. No matter how hard, no matter what task you check off the to-do list, your anxiety will not be healed because anxiety exists in a completely different part of your brain than logic and willpower. Subconscious. Sub means below. Conscious is what we think. It's our logic, right? Our conscious is our logic. Your logic only controls about 5% of your actions, where your subconscious controls 95% of your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. Below your consciousness is what's driving your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs 95% of the time. So to go a little bit deeper here, your conscious mind, your adult brain is the part of your brain that makes plans, it sets goals, it's problem solving, it's all the rational part of your brain. Your conscious mind understands time. It understands the past, the present, the future. Where do I want to go? What do I want to achieve? All that stuff. It categorizes everything in your life based on past events. Past events. And if it cannot link something in your life to a past event, it believes that it's dangerous. It doesn't want to do it. It wants to stay the same. All automatic behaviors bypass the conscious mind. So now switching over to the subconscious mind, this is all of your emotions. This is where all your emotions lie, all your emotional responses lie. This is what I call the toddler brain. So this governs your emotions, fear, anxiety. It is all the irrational. If anybody has a toddler, I know that I have two toddlers, a 2 and a 4-year-old, and I can tell you from my day-to-day experience that they are not acting rationally. If I give them the wrong color plate, or if I peel the banana the wrong way, it is like full meltdown mode. So anybody else have kids here? All right, so your subconscious mind only cannot understand time. It believes that every single thing, it only understands surviving the present moment. So your subconscious mind is linked directly to your nervous system, to your fight, flight, or freeze response, and it is what governs all of your automatic responses and habits on autopilot. Is there anyone anyone have an example of things they do on autopilot that they wish they wouldn't? For example, hey, you know what? I'd really love to lose 5 pounds, but the second you start to get tired or stressed or anything like that, what do you reach for in the fridge? Ice cream, sweets, sugar. Logically, that's not what you should be eating, but hey, our actions and behaviors are not driven by logic. All right, I'm looking here in the chats. Okay, so your subconscious was programmed by the time you were 7 years old. Anyone interact with people under 7? I know I do on a regular basis. I can tell you and promise you that they are not the most logical people. This is not the most logical and rational time of your life. You are not thinking clearly. And your subconscious, basically, think of it as like the person driving your life all day is this 7-year-old version of yourself or younger. And what I have found of most of the subconscious beliefs, most of the limiting beliefs that are driving us every day are under the age of 3 years old. They've experienced them under the age of 3 years old. So another way of getting that our logic doesn't respond to our anxiety is, have you ever tried to talk yourself out of anxiety? Even more, has anyone ever told you to relax? This is like the world's worst thing for someone with anxiety, is like when their husband or a friend is like, why does that bother you? Why don't you just relax? This is not even a big deal. And you just want to go through the roof of being like, I can't just relax. If I could relax, I would. It is just something that absolutely, when you're experiencing this, there is no way. Yeah, just chill, just relax. So when somebody tells you, how does that work out? So the biggest threat to the subconscious mind, what do you think that is? Anyone have any guesses? Biggest threat. What is the most triggering thing to your nervous systems, to your subconscious mind? Oh, inner critic, that's a good guess. It's actually change. Change. Anything new, anything different, change. The root cause of all suffering to your subconscious is change. So that means a new job, change in plans, a health diagnosis, a move, a different relationship. Anything unexpected or different is extremely threatening to the subconscious mind. Remember when I told you your mind gauges everything based on past events? And if anything is different than something you've experienced in the past, it thinks it's dangerous. So new equals different. Different equals unfamiliar. Unfamiliar equals dangerous. And it triggers the survival response in your body. You might be thinking, what the heck? Brain? What the heck, body? What the heck? Why were we made this way? This doesn't make any sense. But it actually does if you understand evolution, if you understand how we were wired as humans. Evolutionarily speaking, our minds haven't adapted to how quickly our society has changed. Think about it, it wasn't that long ago when we were living in tribal times or we're living in war times where fear was actually useful. Fear was useful. So fear kept you alive. Fear was a survival mechanism. And if you were always looking for the danger, if you were always searching for the tiger around the corner, then that meant you stayed alive. Your family lived. You were able to procreate and to just survive. So fear used to be helpful, but it's not in today's modern society. Our brains, our nervous systems haven't caught up with our modern society. All of us live in a world now where we have clean water and healthy food, lights and electricity and all the comforts of the world. But isn't it interesting that we are the most unhappy, sickly, chronically ill country in the world, and we have it technically the best. Why is that? An untrained mind will always go to fear. So your mind doesn't know the difference between true physical danger or perceived emotional danger. So to your mind, it's all the same. You could get an email from your boss just asking you a simple question about a project, and it could trigger you as extreme as if you're about to get hit by a car. If you have these old toddler limiting beliefs that haven't been upgraded. Anxiety is a fear of the future, whether that fear is real or imagined. I don't know about you guys, but when I had anxiety, some of the stuff that I would freak out about would be like the most ridiculous, not real things ever, 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 ever. Stuff that would make you laugh if I thought of it. It's crazy. So your subconscious mind cannot understand time. It doesn't understand, oh, that thing I'm afraid of, that's probably never going to happen. Or that's like a month from now. Why am I stressing about it now? When it's a month from now, your brain, your subconscious doesn't understand time. So every single time you have a thought, I'm not good enough, imposter syndrome, what if I mess up? What if people judge me? It instantly triggers your entire nervous system to believe that threat is happening now, that is life or death, that the tiger is around the corner, and everything is activated in fight or flight. So the way the cycle of anxiety works is your conscious mind, your adult mind, perceives a change or a fear of the future, and it triggers your nervous system or your subconscious to activate, to say, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. And that activates your nervous system, your fight, flight, or freeze response. And then your conscious mind says, oh my gosh, why am I so activated? Why am I so stressed? Something must be wrong. Something must be wrong with me. And then it just keeps going and going. The difference between humans and animals. Animals, if you've ever watched a nature show, this tiger or this lion here is chasing the zebra. Zebras activate into fight or flight when they're trying to run away from a predator. And the second the predator backs off or they escape, they instantly switch back out of fight or flight. And then they just sit there eating their grass again and moseying around and hanging out with the other zebras. But humans do not do that. Humans, what do we do when we're stressed? Does anyone just, oh yeah, I finished that task, I'm not stressed out anymore? Probably not. My guess is probably not. Maybe you guys are better than I was, but it was never that quick for me to switch. It was actually impossible for me to switch out of it when I was in this state. So that is the main difference. No matter how, curl in a ball and cry for 5 minutes, that's funny. So one way to understand this is that our conscious mind doesn't speak the same language as our subconscious mind. So you could say all day, just relax, just cool, everything's fine, we're done, we're fine, it's all good. But it will never actually get to your subconscious when you have an imbalanced nervous system. Another way to think of this is like a computer that needs an upgrade. So I know I used to have this Mac computer. I had it for a long time, and I would sit down and I try to work on a project and be trying to like open apps or just do something simple. But the software system was so out of date, the computer was so old that everything just kept freezing and crashing and freezing, and I would update it, and it would be like this super stressful situation of no matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard I pushed this computer or cleared the storage and did all this stuff to try to make it work, the software system was just outdated. It was too old. And that's exactly the way our conscious and our subconscious mind is when you try to run on logic alone and you're operating from this old and faulty program, like anxiety, like these core limiting beliefs that cause anxiety, you'll keep getting stuck and frustrated and stressed. What if I told you that it was possible to actually hack this algorithm? To hack the algorithm of your body, of your mind, of your nervous system, you have to understand the core fundamental rules that it's operating from all the time. So this first hack, number one, is your mind stays with the familiar. It doesn't know what's good or bad, right or wrong. It doesn't know what is happy or sad or anything like that. All it knows is if it keeps you doing the same thing you've always done, thinking the same way you've always thought, and showing up in your life the same way you've always showed up, you will stay alive. Stay alive. That's the only thing your subconscious mind cares about is you staying alive. It does not care about you being happy. So familiar equals safe. Who here can relate with comfortably uncomfortable, doing something familiar, but maybe isn't exactly what you want. So how do we hack this algorithm? Yes, Ashley. Cheat codes, number one. Your subconscious, like we've talked about, was programmed by the time you were 7. And what was your familiar emotion? Like I told you guys, in mine was like chaotic. There was a million people around. It was always working, always hustling, a lot of moving parts back then. So my nervous system, my subconscious mind was programmed that way. What was yours programmed? To identify the root cause of your anxiety, we have to make something new familiar. How do we upgrade our thoughts, upgrade our feelings, upgrade our beliefs to allow change to feel comfortable? The thing that triggers us the most is change or the fear of the future. What if we upgraded our thoughts to, hey, I can handle that. I can deal with that. That's not that big of a deal. If we change that at the root cause of our subconscious, then all of a sudden you don't have those old outdated responses to things anymore. So your mind learns from repetition. I'm just looking here in the chat, see if there's any questions. Yeah, doing everything right. So Janelle is saying, yeah, hustling. I have to hustle. I have to perform. I have to do it perfectly, or else. That's what I would challenge to say, or else what? Or else what if it's not perfect? And also, is that even possible? So I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but I'll say it now as it relates is when we make the subconscious conscious, all of a sudden you can look at it from a different perspective. Challenge the belief to say, am I doing it right? What is right? Because what is right for me might be something that's completely right or wrong for you. This is what I think about all the time. I'm different than many people in my family, and I have programmed myself now to say, hey, just because they're that way doesn't make them wrong. Just because I'm this way doesn't make me right or wrong. Everyone has to know what is right for you in that moment of time. Challenging that, challenging your beliefs. Therapy is the fastest, most effective way to change deep-seated beliefs and bypass the conscious mind. That's why hypnotherapy is so effective, is it gets to the root cause. Remember, most of the problems exist in the subconscious mind. 95% exist in the subconscious mind. So hypnotherapy is the quickest way to bypass, to get to directly access and reprogram the mind for lasting transformation. So this was one of my awesome clients. She was a super high performing lawyer, very stressful job. And the way that her stress and anxiety was showing up was in self-sabotage. So every time she started to do really well in life, she would have this terrible chronic pain, chronic back pain. And whenever we did a hypnotherapy session, an RTT session, we really understood her patterns, her childhood patterns, and the beliefs rooted from that childhood that kept telling her, like her biggest, like every time she'd get excited about something, then there was a disappointment. So there was just like this pattern of cyclical hope and disappointment and hope and disappointment. But once she understood this pattern and this belief and realized, wait, that's not really real anymore, she was able to release it. She was able to change it and allow herself to really step into the highest version of herself. So one of the things I love about her, she has this very corporate job as a lawyer, but the thing that she felt the most impact with her transformation is her creativity and fun. You know how we talked about like when we're driven to be high performers, that the thing you lose out on is fun and happiness. She sings karaoke. She's super positive. She's creative. She feels so good. And she said people around her in her testimony, she said people around her kept saying, if I didn't know you, I would think you were like on something, on some kind of medication. And she said the only difference has been doing this RTT therapy. She's not taking vitamins differently, not showing up in any other way, just by releasing this old limiting belief. It has impacted her in ways that she would have never thought, because it wasn't just about the stress and anxiety. It was about so many other things that made her feel authentically aligned with herself. So just as a quick check-in here with you guys, I'll slow down and stop talking for a minute. If you had a choice, what game would you play? Would you want to play the game of life where, hey, change happens, it's natural, I can handle anything that comes my way? Or do you want to keep living in survival mode where I have to be perfect, I have to do it right, I have to work hard, I have to do blah, 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 blah? Which one? Life or Hunger Games. Life is fun, please. Yes, yes. Ashley, I stifle my own creativity. Creativity is the number one thing that's shut down when we're logic driven. So that makes so much sense. And also, when we label ourselves, which again, we'll get into a little bit later on, but when we label ourselves like, I am this, and I am that. Remember, I told you I used to label myself like, I am my job. I am not who I am. I am just my job. All right, life. Yeah, life. Hunger Games. Yep. Only a version. Oh, yeah. Exactly. I agree with that's funny. Okay, guys, this next section, we're going to talk about the mind-body connection. So this first section, we were really focused on the subconscious mind and how our subconscious mind works. And this part, we're going to get more into the physical side, the nervous system stuff. How do we hack our nervous system? I saw a TikTok the other day and I was laughing, and it was a TikTok that was like, what is so normalized, what is so wrong, but it's prevalent that it seems normal. And the first thing that came to my mind is everyone's chronically ill. Every single person in our life has some kind of chronic illness that has been normalized, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's stomach issues, whether it's weight or unhealthy thing, whether it's autoimmune issues, sleep dysfunction, relationship issues, whatever it is. It's yes, everyone just goes to doctor's appointments all the time, takes a million meds, and doesn't actually feel good. So why is this normal? And one mistake that we have been programmed, I say we've been programmed because I know we're not trying to make this mistake. We're doing the best that we can, but we all treat the root cause. We're treating the symptoms of our problems rather than the root cause. We're looking for, when we're always focused on these surface level treatments like medications and supplements and productivity hacks, we're simply putting a Band-Aid over our check engine light, and we're masking the problem rather than figuring out, why am I having this? What is the root cause of this problem to begin with? And the root cause of our problems is a dysregulated nervous system and an out-of-date subconscious mind, subconscious belief system. So why have we lived in this world where this is acceptable? Why aren't we all pushing back? All right. So secret number 2, anxiety is a symptom. It is not the actual problem. Anxiety is an umbrella symptom for so many other things in a dysregulated nervous system. I'm going to go into this in a little bit more, but it's just your body's check engine light. It's just your subconscious mind saying, hey, help me, pay attention to me. Something's off, something's wrong. I have a block here. Can you pay attention? If I don't make it painful, we'll just leave it. It'll just stay the same. So you might be thinking, subconscious mind, subconscious blocks are only in the mind, right? They can't really hurt me. No one sees them. It's just how I feel. I can handle it. I can handle this. This is normal to me. I don't mind the chaos. But that's actually wrong. And can everyone see this here? This is what a subconscious block can actually, how it shows up physically in our body. So at this time, when this happened to me, it was about 2 years ago, I had never had an allergy before in my life. I had never had a hives before in my life. And you can see from these pictures that this is pretty extreme, right? So actually when it happened, I went in full anaphylactic response. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting on the couch. My mother-in-law was in from Texas. We were just talking, and all of a sudden my lips started to swell, and my eyes started to swell, and my throat started to swell. And she like noticed it, and I started to feel it. It was like, I was like, I never had an anaphylactic response before in my life because I didn't have any allergies. But, rushed to the emergency room, given all these medications and everything, and they suppressed the hives. And they, I did the normal thing that everyone does, go to the allergist. I'm like, oh, maybe I developed, in pregnancy, some allergy to something. And so I got a million tests, all this stuff. And the doctor kept saying, nothing's showing up as an allergy. All you have to do is just take 4 Zyrtec for the rest of your life. And this is just something that happens to people. And I remember saying to the doctor, because he never asked me about stress, never asked me about changes, never said, oh, you're somebody who's never had an issue, and then all of a sudden you have this extreme issue. And I thought that was interesting. This is not even on the radar. And she's, no, just a lot of people just get hives, and they just have to take Zyrtec for the rest of their life. And I just want to say that I still have that bottle of Zyrtec. and I have not had to take it for 2 years. But so what happened was I obviously, being myself and already being in the world of energy healing and mindset things, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense to me. I'm not somebody who's saying, yes, oh yeah, this was really painful, by the way. It was super itchy. It was super embarrassing. And it was very painful. And obviously, it was not very fun to walk around looking like this. I had it for about a month. And I started to dive into all things that I knew about the mind and the body, started doing energy clearing, emotion codes on myself, working with other healing practitioners, and it went completely away within a month. And it kept coming back to this same trigger. It's not safe to be seen. It's not safe to be seen was a limiting belief that I had in my mind. And what had happened that activated this in my nervous system, because triggers, we go through levels of healing. And what comes out on the next level of healing is what is triggering at that time. What had triggered at that time was I had hired a social media company for my business. And I have a graphic design degree, so I'm very picky about the way things look. I like them to be pretty and organized and nice. This graphic design company was posting stuff that I hated. It was super embarrassing to me. It was super not up to the level of quality that I thought it should be. And I kept saying, I just had this full systemic reaction to the stress. It was like my body was being like, you cannot be seen like this. You cannot be seen like this. So guess what it did? My subconscious mind that loves me so much and all it wants to do is protect me and keep me safe. It created a physical reaction to keep me from being seen. Because guess what I wasn't doing covered in hives? I wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't posting. I didn't want to be seen like that. So it was this secondary response from my subconscious trying to keep me safe. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand how the subconscious works with that and how physical our limiting beliefs can become? Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking. Looks like a couple of you had some allergic reactions to things. All right. If anybody wants to pop off of mute and talk about theirs, feel free to just interrupt me and feel free because I think it's so important for us to see how physical our bodies are. So let me see. All right. Here's another example of someone that I worked with that we were working on something completely different. And just by clearing another belief in her body, her acne that she had been struggling with for so long completely disappeared. And so many skin things. It's actually something that's in the holistic world, that's skin, psoriasis, eczema, acne, anything on our skin is very emotionally related. Obviously, in the world that I'm in, every kind of chronic illness is emotionally related and embedded, but the skin especially. So when we start to learn that your subconscious mind loves you, it's trying to protect you and will do anything to protect you, including making you sick, making you uncomfortable to try to keep you safe. So what we have to do, how do we make the subconscious conscious? You have to ask yourself and challenge yourself. Subconscious, does this actually make me feel safe? Does it actually make me feel safe to be covered in hives? No. And that's when you can reprogram things. All right. How's everyone doing so far? Okay, so problems, like I said, problems hold hands with problems. When you get to the root cause of one problem, other problems disappear. So learning a little bit more about this mind-gut connection. Who here has heard of the vagus nerve? The vagus nerve, a huge system within your nervous system. Put a yes in the chat box or a 1. Basically, your vagus nerve is connected to your brain all the way down your spinal column and is wired to every organ in your body. So 80% of your immune system exists in your gut. Our vagus nerve is kind of the highway, the emotional highway that sends signals from your mind down to your gut and back. So when you feel anxious or stressed, your brain sends those signals down because that's what activates your gut, your body to be in fight or flight. And your body, your gut sends the signals back up. Most people don't realize that all of your happiness hormones, your neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, all those neurotransmitters come from your gut. They don't come from your brain. So if your vagus nerve is calm, it helps you switch out of fight or flight. to rest and digest. So that means if you have a healthy vagus nerve, your body is able to, like that like to switch back and forth between fight or flight. So the only state that you can actually heal is if you are in rest and digest. So if you have an overactive or overstimulated vagus nerve for a period of time, it becomes weak, it becomes dysfunctional. And this is where chronic disease happens. Who here has been chronically stressed for longer? You're only supposed to be in chronic stress. Guess how much time? About like 3% of the time. You're supposed to be in fight or flight. But most of us are living in a world where we're in fight or flight 90% of the time or 100% of the time. So if that's the state, how in the heck do our poor little vagus nerves stand a chance? So this is exactly what happens. So fight, flight, when our fight, flight, or flee system is turned on, we have, sorry guys, I gotta let somebody else in. When our fight, flight, when we are stuck in a state of fight, flight, or flee, we have an increased heart rate. I remember feeling this all the time. I always had pressure on my chest. You pump more oxygen to your muscles. You're pumped full of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And this is designed, and your body's actually wired amazingly. This is designed to make you more alert, to make you ready to fight an attacker. And this is where hypervigilance comes in, the over alertness when we're in fight or flight, constantly hypervigilant about danger, about what's around the corner. Our digestion shuts down. Oops, sorry guys. Our digestion shuts down. So if your happiness hormones are in your digestion, your immune system is in your digestion. But if you are in a state of fight or flight all the time, then your blood and there's no blood in your digestion. How in the heck are you supposed to be happy? So if there's no blood, no energy sent to your digestive system, which is in charge of everything, like I said, happiness and your whole health, how in the world are you going to stand a chance in being healthy? So your muscles will tense up, you will get headaches and shoulder pain and neck pain, and always have a knot in your stomach if you have prolonged states of fight or flight. So on the flip side, I also want you to think that both of these systems can't coexist. If one is on, the other one is off. So if you are in fight or flight at all, chronic stress at all, your rest and digest, like I said, the only time that you can heal is off. But if we actually were able to turn it on, you would have a slower heart rate that allows you to relax and recharge. You would have relaxing hormones like serotonin and oxytocin, and those are your happy hormones. Those are your happy hormones. Those are what we're after. That's what all of the medications and stuff we take is serotonin. But what most people don't realize, fun fact about anxiety meds, SSRIs, they only actually give you one of the 4 happiness hormones. So they give you serotonin, but what if you're someone who needs more GABA or needs more dopamine or oxytocin or anything else? They actually don't address those other 3 neurotransmitters. When you're in a state of rest and digest, your digestion is improved, which helps you break down your food better, absorb nutrients better, eliminate waste, which will then make you feel better overall. Your muscles relax, they loosen up, they release tension, and you're allowed to feel at ease. I want you to think simplifying. So we're going to simplify this on what your vagus nerve is, the responsibility of your vagus nerve here is think of your vagus nerve as the brakes on the car, the thing that slows your body down, the thing that slows you, allows you to heal. If you have faulty brakes and you can never slow down, so that a faulty brakes, what I mean is an overworked vagus nerve. An overworked vagus nerve that is not working properly anymore, your brakes are going to fail. You're never going to slow down. And when you never slow down, that means you're just stuck. You're stuck in fight or flight all the time. You are in chronic overdrive, which means chronic disease, AKA anxiety, burnout, and other autoimmune issues that have those mysterious ones, fibromyalgia, autoimmune, all these food intolerances that everyone has now because our vagus nerve is not working properly. I'm just going to check in real quick. Yes. All right. So here are some signs that your vagus nerve is not working properly. If you have anxiety, IBS, infertility, period issues, hormone issues, high blood pressure, GERD, acid reflux, migraines, OCD, leaky gut, weight issues, inflammation, autism, insomnia. I actually have a book that has 3 pages of chronic illnesses linked to an imbalanced vagus nerve or an overactive vagus nerve. So I just put the popular ones on here to make it easier for you guys. So just for a second, slowing down again, getting centered with yourself. Imagine just for a minute being in survival mode your whole life. I know when we're in it, like I know when I was in it, it just seemed like that's what it was. This was normal. I didn't have anything else to compare it to. The CDC states that chronic stress is linked to 95 or 75 to 90% of all chronic diseases. That's a lot. Stress to all chronic diseases. So now, just for some comparison here, I want you to imagine a life where you can actually relax, where you can actually slow down, where you can feel safe, where you can let your guard down, where you can trust other people to support you. And see how that feels in your body. So understanding, and we're going to be learning more and more about this, but that every single thing is energy. Everything in our life is energy. Our thoughts, our feelings, the world around us, gravity, Wi-Fi, all the tests that we have. Your body is a completely electric. Like I said, that's why they use those defibrillators and everything to take you back to life, because you are wired energetically. So our emotions are simply energy in motion. Our body exists on 3 primary energy systems: your aura, your body's atmosphere, your chakras, which is like how your energy interacts with the world around you. You have 7 primary chakras, and then your meridian system. So your meridian system, think about veins and arteries move blood up and down your body, where your meridian system moves energy up and down your body. So think of the meridians as rivers, moving energy, helping your body flow and keeping you balanced and energized. When we cannot process our emotions, most of us haven't been trained to process our emotions effectively, but when we don't process our emotions effectively, they're what's called trapped emotions. Trapped emotions are energetic blocks. Think of them as like a dam in the river system of your body. So these act as a dam. They stop the flow of energy to your organs, to your nervous system. And every time we get more and more daily triggers, it's just more debris building up in the dam than your meridian system. And every trigger, every stressor adds to the blocks, disrupts the energy flow, and impacts your life. It doesn't just impact your life on the emotional side, all the damned, wherever the block is and whatever meridian it's affecting, it starts to disrupt and dysregulate all the tissues around that meridian. Most people don't realize that your emotions are created by your organs. And this is my little chart here, my emotion code chart. So it shows you which emotions are created by which organ. Most people identify with stomach issues that have anxiety, and it's because your stomach creates the frequencies. So emotions are just frequencies. It's just energy of anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry, failure, helplessness, hopelessness, lack of control, low self-esteem. But another pattern that I see super, super strongly in working with people is, remember I said anxiety was an umbrella emotion? A lot of times we think the symptom we're having is anxiety, but it's actually another feeling, a huge feeling that comes up over and over. It's feeling unsupported. And this is because a lot of high performers, they have to do it all. They have to do it all themselves. They can't allow anyone else. They can't ask for help. Another big pattern is feeling unworthiness. I have to earn my worth. I have to work really hard and prove myself, or else I can't receive all of that. These are all energetic patterns and blocks. So you may be thinking, oh, Amy, I've already talked about this in therapy. I've already dealt with this. I've been going to therapy for years. And what I have seen over and over again is talking about something. Obviously, this goes back to the conscious versus subconscious things. Talking about it is good. It creates self-awareness. But if you don't heal it at an energetic level, if you don't heal it at a subconscious level, it triggers are still dammed up in your body. They're still there because trauma is stored in your body. It's physical. Just saying, oh, yeah, this happened to me once and this was really bad, that's not going to actually heal the body. If something is showing up, anything that's showing up in your life is a direct reflection of what you were holding on to. So if it's an unhealthy relationship, if it is a symptom, if it's like a constant thing that just keeps happening and happening, it just means that this is a lesson that you haven't learned. This is an energy you haven't released, and you keep magnetically attracting it to you until you are ready to release it. And a lot of the things most people don't realize, a lot of the things that we carry aren't even ours energetically. So people talk about with physical disease, oh, this runs in my family. This runs in my family. I can't help it. It's a genetic thing. And there is so much science around ancestral trauma, epigenetics, energy patterns, limiting beliefs passed down through different people and family lines that cause these chronic illnesses. So think about it. Our limiting beliefs, our behaviors come from our parents. Their behaviors came from their parents. It's just passed down from one generation to the next until someone decides to heal it. We have the power with our subconscious mind, with our energy healing, to turn our genetics on and off, which is it's really great because you have the power to stop generational cycles of trauma. This was a client that I had that had a really good example of something that was like a physical trauma in her body. So she had this physical trauma, which was actually related to an emotional trauma. And as soon as we cleared the trapped emotions, she felt, you can see here, she felt lighter. She was happier. It was easier for her to breathe. And this was even just after one session that she had this amazing experience. And she was able to just feel like a completely different person from releasing this physical/emotional trauma from her body. As it relates to this, how do we hack the algorithm of our nervous system? So our nervous system is wired, again, for survival. But survival, this wiring, this algorithm, sometimes gets messed up, sometimes gets crossed. So this rule, this very important rule, is the body always wants to avoid pain, seek pleasure, and maximize efficiency. But based on what our limiting beliefs are, those things that can become messed up. For example, you would think that a correct brain, a logical brain, would say pain, if I'm talking about the algorithm here, avoid pain would be stress and anxiety, right? But that's not how my mind was wired. And my guess is it's not how your mind was wired. My pain from these old limiting beliefs was actually relaxing. My body was wired to think that relaxation and rest was lazy. It was not being productive. It was, I would get in trouble. My parents would yell at me, or I wouldn't be good enough, or I would have some level of being rejected from my tribe. And getting in trouble was a big one. So my pleasure was like, oh, to be good, I have to be on all the time. I have to be working all the time. I kept working against myself because my algorithm was wired backwards. And whatever your limiting belief is, your mind has to show up that way. Your body has to show up that way. Your mind has to be right. So the subconscious work I had to do was switch these. I had to get really clear of, oh, wait, my pain is actually overworking, overdoing. And what I really want and what I have to make the new thing familiar is rest and relaxation and self-acceptance and self-love and knowing that I don't have to chase anyone else's approval for me to approve of myself. The cheat code here is get really clear on what is your pain and what is your pleasure. Another easy example here is a lot of times people want to lose weight or get healthy, but they're like, but I hate healthy food. All I want to eat is sugar and candy. I hate healthy food and I hate exercising. Will you ever get anywhere with that belief? So what we would have to do was switch those so that you say, oh my gosh, I love moving my body. And I really am finding more and more foods that I enjoy, that are healthy for me, that work with my body rather than against my body. We have to release these trapped emotions and rewire new emotional patterns that work with your nervous system and not just against it. This is another client that I had as a great example of a crossed wire switch. Like patterns that were not serving her is she has a job where she has to do a ton of public speaking, but she was constantly saying in her mind, I hate public speaking. I hate public speaking. I'm so nervous about public speaking. So her pain was public speaking when that was actually what she needed to progress her career, was be good at public speaking. So all we did was subconsciously release any trapped emotions out of fear of rejection or judgment or messing up or having to be perfect or whatever it was, but then say, you know what, I actually love public speaking. I love sharing my knowledge. I love the opportunity to support my counterparts and teach people things and educate and all the stuff. And we just like front loaded every single thing that she loves about the thing she actually wants, her real pleasure in life. So we have to get clear on that, is what is it that we actually want in our life? So this is another awesome client, Charity, who had struggled for years of her life with not allowing herself to take pictures. And I have to say that this is one of the most common, this is one of the most common things I hear from so many women, is that they don't want to take pictures. And after clearing these old trapped emotions that she didn't even realize were there, again, this was another example of someone I was working on for stress, for work stress. And then by clearing those old stress, this was a secondary gain. Remember, problems hold hands with problems. This was a secondary thing that she was able to clear that has made a significant impact in her life. And now she loves taking pictures. She's having more flexibility in marketing her business in a different way. She allows herself to be seen and appreciated and valued. And it's making a big impact in her life in a lot of different ways. So this is really important. Yeah, Charity's on her chat here too. Nervous system, just a quick, again, slowing down and pausing so that I can actually look at the chat here. And again, if anyone wants to unmute and ask a question, please do. I would love to hear your voice and see your face. But I want to see, and you can put it in the chat or say it out loud, see what you guys have learned so far. What does it mean when your mind wants to relax, but your body cannot let go? Where's the problem exist there? Okay, nobody's answering, so I'm going to answer. It means if you want to relax but you can't, it means you have a vagus nerve that is not working appropriately. That is overstimulated, it's dysfunctional. Yeah. Okay, we got it. We're catching up. Maybe my chat's slow here. What's to blame when certain situations constantly re-trigger and reactivate the same emotional reactions in your body? Yes, it can be limiting beliefs for sure, old habits for sure, and trapped emotions. Subconscious, yes, for sure. But trapped emotions for sure are reactivated. Triggers, I want you to think of triggers. Something is triggering when you didn't just experience it once. You've experienced it 10 times, 100 times. And that's all those blocks, like all those stacked up trapped emotions. So you're not just feeling anxiety or rejection or unworthiness or panic once, because we have shoved it down for so long, you're experiencing it 100 times in your nervous system, which is why it is such an extreme trauma response or trigger reaction for us. And then how would your life change if you truly felt calm and in control? You don't have to put that in the chat, but I want you to think about it for a second. Like, how would you show up differently? Who would you be? How would your relationships change if you weren't constantly driven by this need to be in control? This was another awesome client that I had. I really liked working with Heath. He had a high performance sales job. And one of the biggest compliments that I get, it's not just about what clients say and what clients tell you. One of the biggest compliments I got this week actually was a family member of his contacted me to sign on to do the program. And this person's reason, I always ask, hey, how'd you find me? What happened that you got into this? What motivated you to book this call to do this work? And she said, completely changed. He showed up completely different in his life. And I thought that was such a big compliment, that it wasn't just about what he experienced. It's like other people in his environment really noticed that he was a different person. And I saw it, obviously I saw it from him, that we were able to release he was really hard on himself, had this strong inner critic. And then at the end, he was able to have so much more grace and compassion for himself and really be forward facing and not just stuck in these old cycles. So he was able to get to the root cause of his issues. This last and final part of our training today is how do we really up level our identity? So how can we shift from these old ways? Like, obviously, we've been doing this for a long time, right? I don't know about you, but at the time where I made this transformation, it was like 35 years I had self-identified as a certain way, and I wore that identity like a badge of honor of this like high performer, high achiever. And it was hard to let that go. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see is thinking that anxiety is just me. It's just who I am. It's just part of success. It is what's needed. It's what's necessary. It's mandatory for me to have this type of life. And so, do you believe, if you believe this, that anxiety, that burnout, that perfectionism are just the price you have to pay to earn your success? If you believe that, then that will absolutely be what you experience. But this is a problem because it keeps you in this cycle of burnout and self-sabotage, and it actually keeps you from achieving true sustainable success and internal peace. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing in this type of work together is redefining what success is. The biggest thing that I see is there's all these ultra successful people with money and power and all this, but they're so unhappy or they're so sickly, they can't even enjoy their success. So what is success? What's the important thing here? Anxiety is not who you are. This third little secret. Anxiety is not who you are. It's simply a learned pattern of behavior. Our feelings come from our thoughts. Our thoughts, 90% of them aren't even ours. We're just regurgitating the same thing that we learned and experienced as kids. And we have the power to change our thoughts. We have the power to change our beliefs. So if we can do that here, then our feelings will change. Just like you can pick up a bad habit, you can pick up a good habit. And that's what calm and peace and happiness and fulfillment really is just retraining your mind for good habits. So going back to my beginning stories of when I studied abroad in Colombia, and I noticed, like, I was so glad that I had the experience because I noticed, oh my gosh, all these people are working hard and they're successful, but they're not burned out. They are balanced. They're having fun. They're enjoying life. And they focused on friendships and family and having love and fun in their lives. They were always dancing and singing and drinking. They didn't feel like they had the sacrifice connection for success. And I felt like that was a big thing that I had to learn along my healing journey, was that I think I was raised in an environment where you always had to compromise. If you were going to get this, then you had to give up that. If there was like this understanding of like compromise. And the work that I've done now and what I teach people is about, you don't have to sacrifice. You can truly have it all. You can truly structure things in your life where you can feel great at work and great in your personal life and great about your health. You don't have to have an area that is a compromise. Like these people in Colombia, they liked their work, but they were not defined by it. Remember when I said I didn't know who I was outside of work? I didn't know who I was outside of my job in other areas. And now I've had the opportunity, the gift of traveling other places outside of South America. It wasn't just one experience. I've gone to Greece and Sweden and all these different places. And I saw it over and over again that the European lifestyle, that the South American lifestyle, most other countries are living in a way that is about this balance. They take siestas in the afternoon. They take 3 months off of work in the summertime. This is internationally a totally different experience than what we experience here in the United States. When it comes to your subconscious mind, the most important words that you say are what comes after I am. So whether it's good, whether it's bad, this is extremely important, how you talk to yourself, how you label yourself. Your mind is always attaching to words, and it's super, super literal. It's very literal. So it's always trying to give you back what it thinks that you want. This is important too. So it's goal seeking. It's trying to give you what it thinks is going to make you happy. But the only way that it can the only way it knows what you want is what you talk about. It's what you talk about. So if you say the words, I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I'm unhappy, I am fat, I'm this, I'm that, whatever it is, however you label yourself, however you judge yourself, it says, okay, here you go. Your wish is my command. Let me keep giving you back exactly what you think you are. Because your identity is super important to your subconscious mind. So it's always trying to give you back what it thinks that you want and who it thinks that you are. So your reticular activating system, you have this part of your brain called the reticular activating system that's basically acts as a filter. It acts as a filter because think about our world, how much information that we have swirling around us all day, every day, so much information. And the reticular activating system, if you took in all that information, you would be overwhelmed. Your brain it doesn't have enough room and space in the hard drive up here to store all that information. So it has to only let you hear, only let you experience what it thinks is important to you. So what's important to you is, like I said, it's what you talk about, what you talk about. And a way of thinking about this also is, have you ever went to buy a new car? My dream car is the Lincoln Aviator. So every single time, the second I started putting on my vision board the Lincoln Aviator. Now everywhere I go, it's constantly bringing this Lincoln Aviator to me. And I keep saying, yes, that car is mine. Thank you, reticular activating system. That will be mine one day for sure. And I'm manifesting it every single day, but it knows it's important to me. Another way of thinking about how your brain filters information is the Facebook algorithm. Have you ever talked about something to a friend that you didn't even care about? I remember this one time I was like, yeah, I need to go to the gym. I think I might need to join Orange Theory or something. And then all of a sudden the next day, my entire Facebook algorithm was like Orange Theory ads. And I was like, darn it, this stinking phone is always listening. Even when I think it's not listening, it's always listening. And that is exactly how your mind works. It's always listening. And it doesn't filter the things that are good versus the things that are bad. It's not saying, if you're saying, oh, I'm anxious, but I don't want to be anxious, all it hears is anxious. It picks the primary word you're saying. It doesn't understand negatives. You are always manifesting. You are always manifesting, whether it's conscious or subconscious, you're always manifesting. When you focus on negative things, when you talk about negative things, when you subconsciously are programmed for negative things, your mind, your reticular activating system is like, oh, yay, that doesn't know negative or positive, just knows that's what she focuses on. Let me give that to her over and over again. Thank you, subconscious mind. That's exactly what I need. Wrapping that all up in a little bow here. When we label ourselves, and maybe you want to put in a chat, maybe you don't, I don't know. What are the labels that you put on yourself? Anxious. When we label ourselves, we limit ourselves. So say that again, Dee.
You didn't go.
Or I think she accidentally unmuted herself. So when we label ourselves, we limit ourselves to that identity. I am anxious. I am fat. I am unhealthy. I am sick. I'm sickly. I'm a perfectionist. I have to constantly be retraining my mind that, oh yeah, that's a good one. Lisa too. I can't eat everything I eat. So it's funny you say about the eating one. I can't eat this. That's, I think, to do with food allergies and things like that. I can't have this. I can't have this. It's going to make me sick. My new favorite eating mantra that I practice is, my body takes everything it needs from everything that I eat and releases anything it doesn't. And because I was programmed I was raised in a house where my family was super holistic, very healthy. But which was amazing, which was great. I got so many good patterns, so many good positive patterns from being raised in a healthy family. But what it really did was make me like alienate negative foods. So anytime I eat pizza, anytime I eat sugar, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get sick from this. This is bad for me. This is bad for me. This is bad for me. And it's almost like it causes the negative response. Obviously, I don't want to overeat those bad foods, but I really can feel that I'm judging the food that I'm eating. And now I just say, my body takes everything it needs and releases it else, because I don't want to have negative energy. Just by having that thought around the food, it will change the way my body reacts to the food. So we can 100% reprogram subconsciously how our body responds to different foods and different things. Okay, did I get all these things? Yes. All right. So your body, your reality is reflecting back your current belief system. So who do you think you are? What do you believe that you deserve? So many people really struggle with receiving, with having health and having happiness, with having it all, because there's so many limiting beliefs that life has to be a struggle. All right, neurohack number 3, guys. We're on our third one. Yay! You're doing so well. You're hanging in there. Is our brain is always trying to give it back what it believes it believes you want, and which is the words you say and the beliefs that you have up here. So how is it that we hack this algorithm? Our cheat codes for this is focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want. Say positive words. So what that looks like is instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so anxious," be like, "I'm noticing I need to rest more. I could really use a self-care day. I think I need to calm down. Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to go do a quick little meditation." Give your mind a clear understanding to move you towards what you want. Focus on what it is that you want. I want to feel healthy. Say the words, "I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I am happy." Say them out loud. Practice these words. Hack your own Facebook algorithm on the ads by saying the things that are important to you. Stop identifying with your disease. You are not your disease. You're not your emotions. I used to think about that all the time, learning this stuff. I'm anxious. I'm anxious. No, anxiety is actually just an emotion. All it is a wave. All it is a response, a frequency, a vibration. I am not anxiety. I am Amy. I am Amy, and I love wearing hats and fun clothes and dancing and doing this. And my identity is not my emotion, my one repetitive emotion that, again, was put on repeat in my mind from things that were not even my own choice. So stop identifying with your disease, and switch to the habit of disconnecting from it, saying, "I'm in the habit of feeling anxious. I'm in the habit of feeling anxious. I'm in the habit of XYZ, judging myself, being self-critical on myself. I'm a perfectionist," whatever it is. And start living as your future self, the person you want to be, that you believe that you are, and make that new identity familiar. I don't know if anybody will relate with this or not, but one of the things that I used to have as a negative part of my identity is I'm impatient. I used to always judge myself for being impatient. And now, instead of being like, "Oh my gosh, you're impatient," I say, "I'm practicing being more patient." So I'm being very clear that I'm not judging myself for the quality that comes naturally to me. Instead, I'm saying, "I'm practicing this. This is important to me." And every day, I truly believe over the last couple of years that I've become more and more patient because I'm being clear about what it is and who it is that I want to be. We have the power to create our identities. So this was another client that I had that was able to relieve her stress and stomach pains by getting to the root cause of her anxiety. So she had lived with this since her teen years, and just after 1 or 2 sessions, she said that she didn't experience it at all anymore by releasing trapped emotions, doing hypnotherapy. So this was really nice. All right, guys, so just recapping what you have learned so far: the cheat codes, the mindset cheat codes, understanding those algorithms, those rules to heal your anxiety at its core, the strategy that you need to rebalance your nervous system, neurohack your nervous system, and what it is you have to do to up-level your identity and step into your power and peak performance. After all that, it's easy, right? It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Healing does not have to be hard. I felt like this was one of the huge shifts that I made in my life, was thinking that everything had to be hard. I was for a while almost become addicted to healing. And it was like, I have to keep working at it and working at it and working at it. And now I feel, in looking in retrospect, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be time consuming. It just has to be efficient. You have to put your energy where it is maximized, where it's going to make the biggest impact. And it is important to realize that it's not just one thing. It's not just one thing. There's a reason why all these holistic things, like mind, body, spirit, mind, body, spirit, mind, body, spirit. You can't just do one or the other. You have to do it all to get yourself where you want to be. So ask yourself, or drop it in the chat if you feel comfortable, how long have you tried to heal? How long have you been on this journey? And how much time, how much energy, how much money have you spent on doctor's visits and tests and medications and all this other stuff with no answers or not getting anywhere? So high performers were constantly, like I talked to you guys about, this cycle of stress and anxiety and doing and pushing, which leads to chronic health issues, digestive issues. This impacts your productivity and your quality of life. And traditional treatments, unfortunately, only barely scratch the surface level, and it leaves the root cause unaddressed. Hopefully today introduced you to some concepts why hypnotherapy, why energy healing are proven, are scientifically proven for deep, lasting relief. They target the mind-body connection. They help treat the body from a holistic perspective to reduce stress and promote your overall well-being. And these are not just complementary, or they're not just optional. They are essential. They are essential for healing and to achieve sustainable results. And the studies show, scientific studies show 80% success rates in alleviating anxiety and IBS symptoms. How do you expect to achieve long-term healing without addressing these things? Hypnotherapy addresses subconscious limiting beliefs, old patterns of thoughts. Energy healing addresses trapped emotions, your nervous system. These powerful tools empower you, they address the root cause, and they pave the way for enhanced performance, health, and peace. This was another client that I had, this friend, she was a friend, she actually worked with me for a long time in medical sales. She had fear of judgment, always have to be perfect, a lot of perfectionism stuff, and she would blush a lot of times if she would get nervous. But one of the core things that we were able to overcome was trust and belief in herself, inner confidence. She trusted her decisions, she learned who she was, she learned how she was going to show up in the world, and she doesn't feel the need to people please other people any longer. She has this medical sales background, but she also has become this amazing fashion designer. She creates shoes in Italy, and I own some of her shoes, and they're like the best shoes and the best quality purses. And I love, just like that other client that I had, that really stepped into a creative side. So creative side of herself opened up an entirely different door. So now you know, now you understand, now you've exposed that there is a better way, there is a faster way, an easier way, and these methods work for everyone. This isn't, oh, I probably can actually get rid of my anxiety without healing my nervous system. It's never going to happen. These things are fundamental. It's the way your body works, and it works for everyone, which is why I want to introduce you guys to this program that I'm creating right now called Peak Alignment Elevate. Peak Alignment Elevate is something that I have been working on for the last couple years. I've been working one-to-one with clients and really customizing the tools and the hacks and the recordings and different things, the resources that will help you gain and get the best transformation to heal your chronic anxiety. So this is your invitation for yourself to heal. This is a step-by-step program that helps you heal your anxiety to step into a life where you feel peaceful and present, and you are passionately able to live up to your full potential. And I know that it's even hard right now for you to think of, what does that look like? Just like I used to feel like, what is my full potential? And when you're in fight or flight, when you're in survival mode, it's hard to even conceptualize that. But this program is the quickest and most effective way to do the things that we talked about today. So by the end of this program, you'll no longer feel constantly overwhelmed and anxious and on edge, constantly stuck in a cycle of stress. You'll no longer struggle with self-doubt and perfectionism that keeps you from taking action to becoming the person that you actually want to be. And this will keep you from repeating unfulfilling relationship patterns, repeating generational trauma that no longer serves you. And it will get you out of feeling stuck in this rut, unable to break free from old habits and limiting beliefs. So why am I making this change now? I've been working for a long time successfully. All the people I talked about today, I've worked with for a long time in a way that I love working. But I believe that there is so much power in community, which is why I'm creating this group coaching program. So you have the option, obviously, to do this healing work on your own. You don't need me. You can keep doing the same thing you've always done, and it may eventually work out for you. This is your choice, but most likely you're going to stay stuck exactly where you are, because that's what your brain wants. It's what it loves. It wants to stay the same. When we do things together, when we do things as a group, in a community, supporting each other, then we don't feel as alone. It was one thing that I say to people all the time, working with them is, oh yeah, like when they're telling me their stories or what they're struggling with, the husband or spouse or kids, I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard that 4 times today. And they're like, really? I thought that I was alone. I thought I was the only one who went through this. And I can tell you from now working with a specific type of client with your, if you're here today, if you're on this webinar, this most likely is you as a personality style, is that everyone's going through the same thing. And when we can help each other and support each other in a like-minded community, we can make such a bigger impact in our lives. At the end of this program, you can feel a sense of calm, a sense of balance, and inner peace. You will feel unshakable confidence and have the ability to take bold and aligned actions. You'll feel healthier because you would have rebalanced your nervous system, so healing your chronic illnesses. You'll have more connected relationships built on understanding and trust. And you'll have the clarity and mindset to break free from these old patterns and to create a life that you actually love. So what's inside? What is the actual tangible things that you will get inside of this program? Every week, you will get live coaching and live energy healing sessions. So the way that I'd like to restructure, this is the first time I'm launching it this way, so this is going to be, we're co-creating and learning together to see what works the best. But my thought process is every other week. So every month, you'll get 2 live coaching sessions and 2 energy healing sessions. So those, you can log in, do them live with me, or you can catch the recordings, which I'll put in our online portal. You are going to have access to healing hypnotic recordings through your portal where you can reprogram your subconscious mind as well. And we are going to do live hypnotherapy sessions together. You will have these transformational RTT sessions on demand. You will get, if you have been in my community for a while, most likely you've been exposed to my frequency broadcasts, my energy optimization frequency broadcasts. So you will be getting those again. I know I've put them on pause for a couple months while I was redoing all of this stuff. So you'll get frequencies sent out 3 times a week via my frequency generating machine, my biofeedback machine. And you'll also have access to this supportive community through our online portal. So understanding that every single thing is energy. I know I probably sound like a broken record today with this energy, but everything is energy. And the whole premise of this program is to how do we get your energy as healthy, as high vibe, as optimal as it can be. That's why I call this program Peak Alignment. So match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. So if we focus on the fundamentals, we focus on the root cause, we focus on your frequency. This was said by Albert Einstein. This stuff has been around for years. This is science. This is quantum physics, quantum mechanics. I'm not making this up. This is not woo. It's very science. This is some more info about my AO scanner. Every month, we're going to always be focusing on the fundamental core things that I know we all struggle with, which is anxiety, money issues, abundance, confidence, stress management. But we're also going to incorporate other healing modalities as well, like weight loss months and focuses and different things. We'll use flower essences and other holistic modalities to help get you. I don't want you to think of this program as something that's going to take your time, steal your time. I incorporated a lot of this back end stuff, like I say on here, passive energy support, because you're going to receive this positive energy passively. You don't have to do anything to get it. So it's just going to ease your life and rebalance your life without you having to give or exchange anything in terms of time. I want you focusing your time and the way you're showing up in our coaching calls and our hypnotherapy calls. So it's nice to get this. You're also going to receive these 12 on some core fundamental things like journaling prompts and affirmations. You can see here some focus topics that we have: motivation, love and connection, abundance, joy and positivity, easy transitions, balance and restore inner peace. All these things are included inside of this membership. So our process, again, reinforcing the things that we talked about today, is I like to call this your mindset up level or your mindset MBA, creating an aligned mind, an aligned body, and taking aligned action to become the person that you want to become. So in aligned mind, this module is all about understanding and letting go of old stories, old beliefs, and old roles that we've played in the past. And then clearing those out, releasing those. We're fine. You guys are all good. You're all awesome. But we want to clear out all that good stuff so that we can create space for great, create space for this optimal version of yourself. So this next key area of the program is optimizing your nervous system, your body, right? Making you feel safe in your body and processing those trapped emotions, rebalancing your nervous system, and raising your vibration. So that's really important. We have to have a high vibration to manifest the life that we desire. And then lastly, taking this aligned action. So stress reducing practices, productivity enhancement strategies, all these new techniques, because we have to use, it's not just subconscious. That's why this is the 3-pillar approach. We have to address the subconscious, we have to address the energetic, and then lastly, we have to address the conscious, or how you're actually showing up. So teaching new patterns of behavior, new patterns of thought, all that good stuff. Some of the bonuses that you'll get, this is not a weight loss program. However, we all know that if we're stressed, your body holds on to weight. So you're going to get a weight loss recording. We're going to get a money magnet mindset recording. And I'm going to throw in a bunch of other ones as well as we move through this. So you're going to get another bonus mini course called Aligned Connection that's going to help you have healthy, happy relationships, uncover any hidden patterns holding you back, and discover your unique attachment style, and learn powerful tools to heal, grow, and create deeper connections. And maybe you are thinking right now, I don't have time for this right now, which I get. I know the holidays are right around the corner. You have a family, you have a busy job, there's so much on your plate. I totally get it. But here's the thing, this program is designed to specifically work with people like you, people that are busy, that value their time. And this program gives you tools and strategies to actually give you more time back in your day. It helps you manage your stress, be more efficient with your time so that you have more clarity and have more focus and are actually more productive. It's really up to you. You can keep feeling overwhelmed. You can keep feeling pressed for time, have this time scarcity mentality, or you can invest just a little bit to create more time and space for yourself in the long run. So the second thing you may be thinking is, I'm not sure if this will work for me. What if this doesn't work? Like, you don't want to waste any more time doing something. I totally get it. I hear that. I see that. And it's easy to be skeptical when you've done so much stuff in your life that hasn't worked. But this program, again, is personalized. It's designed to address the root cause of your challenges. It is different because it addresses the root cause. It is not a Band-Aid fix. And guess what? Everyone has a subconscious mind. Everyone has a nervous system. So these things are tried and true to heal people across the board. And the people who have seen the biggest change, the biggest transformation, were also once in your shoes. They were also skeptical. They have also tried everything else in the past and unsure that things would work. And it did work out for them. So another thing, I know the holidays are right around the corner. Should I spend money on this? Do I have time? Am I being selfish? That's a big thing a lot of people think is, oh, I'm being selfish if I spend money on myself. And I get it. Will I even see the tangible results that I want if I spend this money? And I want you to ask yourself for a second, what is the cost of staying stuck? What I have found is that where I have had the biggest return in my life, every time I pushed myself out of my comfort zone to invest in myself, to go to a personal growth retreat, to get a coach, to buy a program, and I was always so squeamish about, oh my gosh, I spend this money on my kids or whatever, my house. I always felt like the best investment I ever made were the times that I addressed myself, that I led by example, that I took up space, that I said, you know what, I deserve to feel good. I deserve to feel healthy. I deserve to feel happy. And staying stuck and staying stressed and burned out it's a far greater loss and cost than making this small investment in yourself. So you're going to gain the tools to elevate your performance. You're going to gain the tools to have healthier well-being and happiness. And it's going to pay off not only in your professional life, but also in your personal life. So again, you have the choice. This is up to you. There is zero pressure on anything, but you can stay where you are, constantly second guessing if the next thing will work, constantly throwing spaghetti at the wall, or you can do this, make the investment in yourself and allow yourself to finally shift and make the changes that so many other people have made. So last and final thing, and this is a big thing for a lot of people, is what if this kind of work brings up things that I'm not ready to face? I've pushed all these things down for so long. I've ignored them for so long. This is just the way that it's always been. I'm not comfortable being pushed out of my comfort zone. Totally get that. I understand it. I know what you're thinking. I'm not sure I'm comfortable stepping out of my comfort zone, and growth sometimes can feel daunting and can feel overwhelming, especially when we're not comfortable with our emotions. Me and my friends joke around all the time, like, we were not raised talking about emotions. I get that it's different. And I found that the only way to really move forward is to move at your own pace. And that's why I have structured to move gently, compassionately at your own pace. And I'm going to talk to you about how this program is structured where you feel that you have total control. It's not forcing you out of your comfort zone. It's about helping you create a stronger foundation with your nervous system, but creating a new comfort zone. Saying, you know what, I'm actually not comfortable being miserable and unhappy and sick. I want to create a new comfort zone. And where calm and confidence and clarity and all this stuff feels comfortable and familiar. When you have the right tools, when you have the right community, it feels safer. My guess, actually, when I think about it, my guess is if you are here today, or if you've even stumbled into the realm of personal growth, is that you no longer want to stay the same. That your comfort zone isn't good enough for you anymore. You've already moved past that. Your inner voice is already saying, time to move on. This is enough. It's really up to you. You stay where you are, wondering if you're ever going to feel free from anxiety, I should say, or you can gently move into a different experience and have this new life that I know that you really want and deserve. Another thing that I have created for you to address all of these things that I know, I get it, that it's not ideal to start any program around the holidays. So what I actually did was I took the pressure to do all this anxiety healing and nervous system healing. I'm giving you a pause. I'm giving you this other program to support you through the holidays. How many of you can relate with being the one that is in charge of making the holidays great, making the holidays magical, but you're the one that barely gets to enjoy them, right? So I created this course that will help you release stress, set healthy boundaries, and cultivate joy through the holidays. For the next 5 weeks before the new year, you are getting primed and supported through the holidays to be intentional about how you want them to feel, how you want to show up. We're going to talk about managing your holiday calendar, how to set boundaries with your friends and your family, how to manage your financial stress and your financial pressure so that you can give gifts graciously and gratefully without guilt or over giving or putting yourself in this bad place. So we're going to ditch the perfectionism and really celebrate yourself. So like my guess, if you guys are anything like me, is you're doing all the presents and all the wrapping and all this and the all on the shelf and blah, 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 blah. But you're never like saying, hey, good job, self. Way to go. I'm awesome. Look at me. So we really want to have some compassion and have some fun and allow you to celebrate yourself through the holidays. So basically what this will look like is we'll have 5 classes between November 21st and December 19th, and they'll be taught live. Like I'll be teaching you all these strategies live, but again, you don't have to show up live. Everything's going to be uploaded to the portal, all the workbooks, all the tools, everything like that. You don't need to add this to your list. This is just here for when you want it, when you want to use it. It's the same thing that you're going to get in the actual membership that starts in January. What also is awesome about this is it's getting you in the mindset to kick off the new year. I feel like most of the time around the holidays is when all of us like completely spiral. We're like overwhelmed and overstressed and overspending and then overeating and then gaining all this weight. And then you're starting in January, you're like, oh my God, I have to have these New Year's resolutions and be a completely different person. What about if you just were supported the whole time and were intentional the whole time so that the new year was easy? So the new year was easy for you to be like, yes, I already have the momentum build up for this to keep going and then make 2025 the best year that you've ever had. Like I said, we'll have these specific structured classes, and this is included in the membership. So all of this stuff that you will receive, the years of experience that I'm bringing into putting together this program could add up to this, which would be a lot, right? I've probably spent triple this on my own personal growth. And that's what I'm bringing to you. I'm simplifying it. I'm cutting it down. I'm putting it into this organized and simplified methodology. So also starting in the new year, I don't know. This is what I have been charging up until now. This is what I have always charged clients to do this stuff. And charging in the new year, I may go back to this price, but for a short time, I'm opening a small window of time to a select group of founding members. So anyone who is interested in doing this work, who's getting all these bonuses, I'm opening up this to a select group of founding members for just $125 a month. And you get to decide how long you stay. So the program is designed to be 12 weeks. It's not open yet, so we're opening the doors over the weekend for the program. As a recap, really quick, what is different about this program? What is different? The program is unique because you're getting all these things under one roof. So in my own journey, healing myself, I'd have to go to one person for Reiki and a different person for emotion, a different person for hypnotherapy and a different person for coaching and a different person for business coaching. And I have this this whole circle of paying all these different people for all these things to heal myself, where everything is under one roof. Mindset coaching, energy healing, both passive and active support. I teach you other healing modalities like Qigong and EFT and breath work and all these other things. Use biofeedback technology. And then you have the flexible to stay as long or as little as you feel comfortable. Again, here's a recap of the program. And you know that healing is done in stages. You are in control of your success. You are free to cancel at any time. You are free to stay as long as you want. I have clients that heal in a month, and I have clients that heal in 3 months, and I have clients that heal in 6 months. So this is completely in your control and how long you want to stay and invest in yourself. So you might be thinking why would I do that? Why would I create so much flexibility around this? And it's because that I believe in you. I believe in this program. I really strongly believe in these healing modalities, and I want to make them accessible. I want to make them accessible and not stressful and not overwhelming financially for people to put up a high cost upfront and to feel like you have some freedom around this. Really, at this point, are you ready to take control of your life? Do you believe in yourself? And are you ready to make this investment in yourself? Again, the doors are not open yet, but if you are interested in moving forward with this program, it is extremely important for you to join the waitlist. Now, if you're on this call live, you already are on the waitlist. So that is awesome. Thank you. You will get notification when this program goes live, and you will get notification of how to sign up for it and then all the goodies and everything that come with it. So do not miss this opportunity for yourself, for peace, for presence, and for joy. All right, I quickly want to go through. I know we're coming up on 2 hours, so you guys are such good sports and hanging in there for so long. This is my first time I've ever done a webinar before, so we didn't know how the timing was going to go. And I appreciate that you guys have done such a great job in staying in and staying interactive and all that good stuff. The program starts just a recap of everything. The Happy for the Holidays mini course runs from November 21st through December 19th. And we're going to do a big Manifesting Your Dream Life workshop, kicking off the new year with vision boards and making fun recordings and living and stepping into your future self. So that will be an awesome way to kick off 2025. And the Peak Alignment Elevate, actual healing your chronic anxiety and nervous system program will start in January after that. So anything else that... Okay, so Charity says, if we join, will the 125 month be locked in forever? Yes, that will be. If you are a founding member, yes, that's only going to be whatever you will be in that pricing. But if and when I raise prices on this program, if you are not a founding member, then you will get the new pricing. So if you don't join now, if you don't join before the end of the year, then you will have the new pricing. Like I said, I've always charged between $1,500 to $2,500, and I may go back to that. I'm not sure. So this is a great opportunity for you to really lock this in. And another thing I think that's really important about this founding member group, I have been teaching this stuff for a really long time, but when we're in this new kind of community and new environment, you have the ability to say, Amy, I'm doing really well with this, but can you give me can you create something for this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. So the more questions you ask, the more you tell me what you need, I can continue to build the program out and more and more. And we are creating this together as well. Okay, let me just see what other questions. All right, awesome. Emily, yay. What was I just going to say here? What if I can't make the calls? Same thing as we've talked about. If you cannot, my goal, and again, we can be flexible as the group works together. My goal is to always have the calls at the same time every week so that you can plan for it. So I plan on having the calls Thursday at noon so that you can be like, hey, every Thursday noon, I know everyone works, everyone has a job. But if I block my calendar for my lunch break on Thursdays at noon, then I know that I keep showing up. So I know I've been a part of a bunch of different programs, and sometimes they put times all over the place and it just gets really confusing. So I'm going to test this out this Thursdays at noon. And if for some reason we have to change it, we have to do anything differently, we'll adapt to it. But that's my starting goal for that here. All the calls are recorded. And I really want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. If you struggle with something, if something came up that week and you cannot make a call, just email me. And then I will address your question on the call. That way it's already in the recording when you go back to look at the recording. So all the lessons are going to be uploaded. You'll have workbooks. If you know me, if you've worked with me, I'm all about the workbooks and exercises. Make sure they're nice and pretty. You can, like I said, email questions. And again, I think we've talked about this a lot, but how do I know this will work for me? And we're using science-based techniques that work for everyone. Fundamental ways of how your body works. Getting to the root cause, doing actionable things, and this is a proven process. Oh, that's the end, everybody. We made it together. Yay. Keep an eye out in your emails for all of this information. I'm going to be sending you some follow-up stuff.